Now that we are familiar with the interface of ArcGIS and QGIS, let's see how we can create a project file and a data file and save it on our machine. So before then, as you can see, I've created a project folder, and inside of it I've created two subfolders for ArcGIS and QGIS. So we're going to save all our ArcGIS related projects inside the ArcGIS folder, and then all the QGIS related tasks in the QGIS folder. So inside of each folder I have a data file, which is actually a shapefile for the country Nigeria. So I have copies in both folder. So in order to get this data file, all you need to do is to go to divergis.org and then click on free spatial data, and then from there you can now click on download country level data. So here I selected Nigeria and then downloaded the administrative boundary. Feel free to download any of the country of your choice. So when you select your options, you click on OK to download the boundary data. So that is the data we are going to use for this particular project. So one confusing thing in GIS, especially for new starters, is the difference between project file and a data file. Here in QGIS or in ArcGIS, a data file is usually in the form of vector or raster data. So the data I just showed you earlier is a vector data, which is actually a shapefile, which is in the shapefile format. So the data I showed you earlier is actually a vector data, which is in shapefile format. Then a project file is the project that the software creates for you. So for example, let's see how we can save a project file. In QGIS, to save a project file, what you need to do first of all is to select or set the project coordinate reference system. So you go to the project menu and then select. From project menu you go to project properties. Then from here you go to the CRS tab, coordinate reference systems tab. Then you select enable on the fly coordinate reference system. Then here you can now select your preferred coordinate system. Here basically there are three options: geographical coordinate system, projected coordinate system, and user defined coordinate system. So here we are going to be using the geographical coordinate system, and the particular datum we are interested in is WGS 1984. So you select the coordinate system of your project and then you click on OK or apply to apply it. So in order to save this particular project file, all you need to do is to go to the project file, the project menu, and then select save, or you can do Ctrl S, then navigate to wherever you have your project folder and then open it, then type in the name of the project file. So here I'm going to call it my project. So this is a project file. So if I click on save, if I return back to my folder, inside my QGIS folder, I will see that I have my project file saved there. And the project file is usually in the extension of .qgis. So if I check the property, you see that the file is in the extension of QGIS. So here I have my project file, and then this is the data file. The data file in shapefile format, and then the project file in QGIS format. So let's see how we can do the same for ArcGIS. So in ArcGIS, usually if you open a blank project, you need to define the project, the coordinate reference system for the project. If you look down below on the status bar, the current unit is unknown, so we need to define the coordinate reference system. So you simply right click on the layer and then select properties. Then from the properties you go to coordinate system tab. There are different tabs there. You look for coordinate system tab. Then from there you go to geographical coordinate systems, and since we are interested in World Geodetic System 1984, you go to World folder, then you select World Geodetic System 1984, and then you click on apply, and then you click on OK. So you can now see that our status bar unit is now in decimal degrees using the datum of WGS 1984. So in order to save the project folder, the project file, what you need to do is to go to the file menu, then select save, or you can simply type Ctrl S, then navigate to wherever you have your folder. I have mine on the desktop GIS project, and then inside of a ArcGIS folder. Then I can now type the name, my project. So if I click on save, if I return back to my folder and check, I will see that I have my project folder, my project file saved right there. And if I check the properties, I will see that the file is an ArcMap document that has the extension of .mxd. So project files in ArcMap has the extension of .mxd, while project files in QGIS have the extension of .qgs. So here in the ArcGIS folder, I have my project file, and then I have my data file, which is a shapefile for the country boundary of Nigeria. So having done with how to save a project file, now let's see how we can add a data file inside the project file. And the data file we are going to be adding is a shapefile we downloaded from DivaGIS earlier on. So here in QGIS, in order to add a vector layer, you go to the layers menu, then you go to add layer, then select add vector layer, then you click on the file type you want to choose from. So since we are adding a shapefile layer, which is this, we downloaded from divagis.org, so I will simply go to, I will select file, which is for shapefile, then I will select browse, and then navigate to wherever I have the file saved on my PC. And then as you can see, we have 3 shapefiles. Remember to check to select S3 shapefile here, or else you won't be able to see these particular files. So I have 3 shapefiles actually, but if you look at the project file, we have several files there. So actually a shapefile is made up of 3 or 4 other files, such as the SBX file, SBN file, PRG file, and then the DBF file, and of course the SHP file. So a shapefile is usually composed of 3 or more other file types, but the primary file you load into your GIS project file is the shapefile, is the .shp, as it is selected here. So here I can select all the files at once and load them at once, but let me select one after the other. So I'll select admin 0, Nigeria admin 0, and then click on open. Then click on open again, and then as you can see, the file is added into our map canvas in our QGIS. So if I want to add the remaining shapefiles, I'll repeat the same thing. Layer, add layer, then add vector layer. Then I'll click on browse, navigate to wherever I have the shapefile, select it, click on open, then click on open once again. So here I have the second layer added to my project file. So to add the last one, I'll repeat the same thing. Browse, add the third shapefile, open, open. So here I have all my 3 shapefiles, and as you can see, the layers are being arranged in my layers panel. So here on the layers panel, I can control which layer is visible or which layer appears above the other. So that is how to add a data file inside a project file in QGIS. So here when I click on save, I'm actually saving data into the project file, not inside of the data file. So if I do any edit to any of this shapefile and I only save the project file before closing the program, my data will not be saved. So I will need to save it inside the data file before it will be saved permanently. So we are going to take a look at that in detail in the subsequent video. So let's turn to ArcGIS. So in order to add layer to ArcGIS, you do that either through the add data button here, or you do it through the catalog dialog box, which you can access from the Windows menu. So if you go to the catalog dialog box, you navigate to wherever you have your shapefiles, and then you can just drag and drop on the layers panel, on the table of content panel, and then they will appear just like that. So this is the first shapefile, this is the second, and then this is the third. So if you notice, we are not seeing the second and third shapefile because the first is actually covering them. I uncheck the first shapefile, you will see the other shapefile below it. So basically, this is how to add shapefile to your ArcGIS project file.